Real Screeners are back, and this time we brought some friends. We have Troy from Zia Comics. What's up, Troy?
How you doing, Troy?
Yeah, and as you can see, he's also the organizer of El Paso Comic-Con and Las Cruces Comic-Con, so we're excited to have him on our show. And of course, you know, whenever you talk about quarantining, you talk about binge watching. And so this time we're going to talk about Netflix binge watching and what we've been doing in our off time as far as entertainment. Again, Troy, thanks for being on our show. And Beto, what have you been doing during this time?
All right. Okay. Well, I literally about 15-20 minutes ago watched the last episode of the second season of Altered Carbon, which was released about a month ago or so on Netflix. I hadn't seen the first season, so I spent a long time watching the first season, the second season. Finally finished it. This is such a dense and such a layered show. It's a show that demands your undivided attention. It's a show that is, I like the first season better than the second season, I have to say.
Agreed.
Yeah, you've seen the first season, Troy, right?
Yeah, I really liked the first season. The second season wasn't as compelling for me. I'm about halfway through it, and if I don't finish it, I'm not going to be upset.
So I was thinking about this. It was a lot to think about in just 20 minutes. And I came up with, you know, the reason I think the first season is stronger is because it has a lot more intrigue and things to discover. This is a show that has a lot of twists and turns, and I like it for that reason. I liken the first season to like Ridley Scott, particularly like Blade Runner and Alien. And then the second season is more like Wachowskis, you know, the Wachowski brothers with like The Matrix. Although both seasons have characteristics or tones that, you know, we can compare to The Matrix, but basically it's a sci-fi show. And so the premise of the show, basically in the future, every human who was born can download their consciousness into a little chip that they call a stack. And so basically you never die, because as long as that stack is okay, you can just be put into a different body, which in the show they call sleeves. It's a show about power struggles, and it's like a detective story as well, and it has some film noir elements. In the new season, in the second season, Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon in the Avengers, he plays the main character, Takeshi Kovacs. The second season just falls kind of short for me a little bit because it just got a little convoluted, and it's just really hard to follow at times because there's so much information. And that's my feeling about it. But overall, if you're a sci-fi fan and you like The Matrix, and you like, you know, Ridley Scott material, James Cameron stuff, you should watch Altered Carbon.
I think the second season kind of has that sophomore slump thing. You know, the first season, it grabs you because it's all new. This is stuff you haven't seen before. And then the second season, you're already used to that stuff that they introduced in the first season. So the second season has to really step it up to keep that same level of excitement. Great acting. The cinematography was good. It just, it's not a new concept to me anymore. And I'm just kind of meh about the second season.
I think that the second season followed the love story a little too much. There's a love story at the center of the second season, and
darn those love stories.
Well,
they're getting away the action.
It's just that it wasn't the focus of the first one as much, I guess, as it was the second season, and I think that kind of detracted from other fun aspects for me, but that's just the way I felt anyway.
That and the whole thing with the sleeves, you know, it can be the same character played by a different actor. Sometimes that's hard to follow from season to season because you went from, you know, I can't remember the actor from the first season to Anthony Mackie, completely different look. But in your mind, you have to make that connection. Oh, that's the same guy.
That's the same guy, yeah. So the actor in the first season was played by Joel Kinnaman. But yeah, like that's another point. That's a very good point because you have the same personality, the same mind, but in a different body. And that happens a lot. So it's hard to keep track of who's who.
Very cerebral. You have to pay attention while you're watching it.
Yeah, in fact, that's what Beto had told me yesterday. He was like, it's one of those shows where, you know, like The Matrix, right? Where you have to be stuck to every single word or else you're gonna miss something vital.
Yes.
What have you been watching, Lenny?
It's kind of weird, right? Because I'm a Marvel guy, but I was going through Netflix and I thought, you know, The Flash was a CW show that I heard was pretty good at the beginning. So I've got time. Let's go check out to see what it's all about. and I'm on the third season right now, and I have mixed feelings about that show. I love the physics, and I love, especially in the first two seasons, they have this kind of overarching backstory or subplot that they tease at the end of every episode, and as the season progresses, they kind of like unfold that gradually. And to me, I like that more than the normal plot lines in every episode, because I kind of feel like the episodes are very cookie cutter, right? And the dialogue can be a little cliched and maybe corny at times. And then there's like a love angle where I'm just like, I'm just gonna fast forward through that, you know. But for the most part, I don't know why. Like, I have, on paper, you would think this is not a show that engages me, but I'm on season 3 now, and I'm just interested to see what's going to happen next. And I think they do a really good job of engaging you with those subplots. So that's what I've been doing. I did watch also the third season of Castlevania, and I love that show. I was never a Castlevania player, right? But I love a good narrative. And, you know, there's so many things that they do right about that show. I will say that it is an adult themed show for sure, and you will see that in the third season for sure. The animation is fantastic. The themes are very hard hitting and real and deep. The first season I thought was at some points slow, but it was still engaging because it dealt with Dracula trying to get revenge on humans, and I won't say why. And then of course you have these characters that are trying to fight him. The second season so far to me has been the best one. It's when everything really ramps up. And then the third season is like the aftermath of that major conflict, and it also acts as kind of a bridge. You could tell that the third season is really like a transition to the next step in that season. So the third season didn't really do it too much for me, but still, I highly recommend that show to anybody.
Going back to the CW thing with Flash, have you watched any of the other CW DC related shows?
You know, I haven't, because I watched so many seasons of Smallville. And, you know I said in the Flash I fast forward through some of the mushy parts, but I was hooked on the romantic part of Smallville. And that was my only experience, because after that, I kind of saw bits and pieces of like Green Arrow, and I forgot what the other show was, but I kind of felt like it was kind of cheesy. So I stayed away, and I'm not just a DC fan in general. So this is only my second show. And I'm sure there are a lot of references in the Flash that I'm just not getting.
Yeah, they do a lot of crossover
Right.
between Arrow and Supergirl and Flash, and I what's the other one? The something of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow. I haven't watched any of them. I haven't watched any Legends of Tomorrow, but I know they do a lot of crossover, and they do a lot of Easter egg reference type stuff in those shows. So if you're a fan of catching like little name drops, you'll like the other shows.
Speaking of the CW shows and Supergirl, I do want to plug this in. At our high school that we teach at, we ran a small little Comic-Con, and we were able to get one of the villains from Supergirl. Her name is Jessica Mraz. That's the actress, and she played Menagerie for about three episodes on Supergirl. And we were able to get her because she graduated from our high school. So we were very fortunate to have that. So that was kind of like our connection, I guess, to the CW. So what about you, Troy? What have you been dipping into?
I've been watching a lot of trash stuff on Netflix. All the Jerry Springer types of, like, I was talking a little earlier about Tiger King. I think everybody in America has probably seen or heard about Tiger King. Dude, it's a roller coaster Jerry Springer type show. Every episode you go from hating this character to the next episode you hate this guy, and then they bring it back. Oh wait, I hate this guy again, and the only thing I can say is Carol Baskin killed her husband.
Oh, because
when you watch it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Yeah,
my wife said that someone dies in it, so I guess that's what it is.
Oh yeah, and it's just so twisted. And what they don't tell you, well, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but there's some alligators die. Those were Michael Jackson's ex-alligators. Yeah, he used to own them. And a lot of these famous people who own the big cats bought them from one of the people on the show.
Okay.
Like Shaq is trying to distance himself from that big time right now.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just, we watched the first episode. I mean, when it first hit, because we'd watched everything else on Netflix. So we'll give this a shot. And we were up to like 4 a.m. because we had to see the next one. Then when it ended, I was like, oh,
yeah.
I want another episode.
I hear the main guy, I hear he has a very compelling backstory, right?
Oh, that guy's got, his backstory is so twisted. And you keep finding out more and more as time goes on, stuff that wasn't even in the show. Yeah, Joe, he goes by Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah, he was married to two guys at one time. I'll let you watch it. Like I
Okay.
said, it's a roller coaster train wreck. You can't stop watching it. It's crazy. It's
Like
almost like a true life crime
crime.
serial
Mm.
type thing. I'll throw it back to you. Like you were talking about, don't fuck with cats on the internet.
Which it blew my mind. That show blew
This will
my
blow your mind just as much, if not more.
Troy, you mentioned that you recently saw Parasite, right?
Yeah, it was on after it won all the awards. I've been meaning to see it, and it popped up on the pay-per-view, and
Mhm.
I was at home, so I paid my fee, and we watched Parasite. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Not based a lot in reality, but it was still a decent movie. After a while, I didn't even realize that it was subtitled. I didn't realize I was reading it. I was so into the movie, and for something like that, because usually I hate to read my movies, but that one it caught me so much into it that I didn't even realize until afterwards. I was like, oh, I just read a whole movie.
What about you, Bethel?
Yeah,
You loved it, right?
I really did. I really did. I really loved the way that it combined all these genres very seamlessly. I think it captured horror well. I think it captured, comedy well. I liked the social commentary,
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think
the
that's what I
acting.
liked.
I thought it was pretty flawless
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
you guys should have seen Beto before and during it was awarded, best picture. Okay.
It's because it was kind of like the underdog, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of
Who
sorts
did it go
because
up against? What other movies were up for Best
well,
Oof.
I think the favorites were Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and 1917 and
I haven't seen 1917.
Was Jojo Rabbit nominated for best picture?
Jojo Rabbit was nominated for Best
What was
Picture,
that
but
one?
it wasn't one of the favorites I think to win.
What about the one where they got divorced? What was that called?
Yeah, Marriage Story.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one as well. And so I
That was Adam
everybody
Driver,
Joker.
right?
Yeah, and then Joker.
Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
Oh, it beat out Joker. Wow.
It was funny. Like if you go on our Instagram, you'll see the video I posted. I recorded Beto's reaction like right before
Celebratory.
there was like a dramatic pause right before she announced the winner, and he was like this. And then when he announced it, he was like, "Yes, yes!" Woo! Awesome.
Man,
It was awesome.
that was
Priceless reaction.
I loved it. I was so happy that it won and that it got the recognition that it deserved. It was really my favorite movie, and so I didn't think it was going to win. So I was caught by surprise for sure.
I'm looking at the top 10 list on Netflix right now. I think it's on its third season now. Have you seen Ozark at all?
I saw the first season way back in the day, and I started the second. I think I probably got through like the first 2 or 3 episodes of the second season, and then I just got sidetracked. It wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it, because it definitely is. I love anything that's film noirish or mystery, crime and mystery. But I like Jason Bateman and I like Laura Linney, so yeah.
I like Jason Bateman as a comedic actor, and I was really surprised at how well he did
I think he's
playing
good
a
as
serious
both.
role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really blew me away in Ozark. And after the second season, where it ended with them getting the Riverboat Casino, where are they going to go from here? And then the third season came out. I was like, oh, I'll give it a watch. Binged it. I couldn't stop. We watched it all the way through. And I don't know if it's the writing or the acting or a combination of both, but man, that show is just so compelling. Once you start watching it, I at least for me, I want to see the next episode right away. I was
I
upset when
remember
the season ended.
Yeah, I remember how suspenseful it was. And I remember also what captivated me about the first season, at least, was the way that he would put his family in peril, the way that he would allow certain things to happen to his wife and kids. And that really, really kept me
And the family
captivated.
stepped up each time.
Yeah, like they all
It
were
was
just
crazy.
thrown into this crazy situation that they all have to like deal with. And yeah, those kids are going to be messed up for life.
Well, season 3, you'll find out they're kind of into the whole lifestyle. They're kind of becoming better at it than the parents are. And the season ender for season 3, I won't tell you, but it ends on such a oh my god, like Red Wedding, Game of Thrones type ending.
Oh,
Wow, that's
You're
intense.
just like, you watch it like, oh crap. And now you got to probably
Like-
wait another 2 years for season
like
4.
Breaking Bad
Ah.
style.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna be waiting for a lot of seasons for a long time. Like I was looking forward to the next season of Stranger Things, for example.
Oh man, me
You know,
too.
that's
Production is halted on
everything's being
almost
pushed
everything.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? I know all the movie theaters are closed pretty much nationwide. Have you been informed that they're talking about releasing movies like almost on demand, like digital first? So, like they're talking about Black Widow, and I think Wonder
right.
Woman. They're thinking about releasing digital, so you can
Hmm.
stay at home, pay the same amount you would pay for a ticket in a theater, and watch it from your couch.
Well, I
So,
tell
what do
you
you think
what.
about that?
I've already watched one of those early releases, right? I watched Sonic the Hedgehog the other night with my family because I have little kids who like blue things that run really fast, and so yeah, I'm trying to take advantage. I'm trying to jump on this wave, right? And so Sonic we enjoyed. I mean, if I were to really critique it, I don't know. I don't think it was all that good, but my kids loved it. Onward. Onward's already out on Prime Video. You can buy that one. I had come across a headline, Troy, where it said that someone had said that if Black Widow were to get a digital release, it would be an embarrassment. Did you guys ever come across that?
Yeah, I read about that. And that's kind of like my feeling with it too. I mean, I'm a big proponent of movies being shown on a big screen, especially movies like Marvel films or
Yes.
DC films. I know that for a while they were considering releasing Wonder Woman, the sequel to Wonder Woman.
Sheesh.
And I think that they decided not to
That's a
release
good
it.
move. That needs to be on the big screen.
See, I prefer watching in my house. I'd rather sit on my couch in my underwear with my own popcorn and
Yeah.
and what. But I think what the issue is going to be is the price because they did this with Bloodshot. Bloodshot is available on demand right now, but they're charging like $20 to watch it, and
To rent
that's
it?
okay. I'll wait. I
I
won't.
want it.
Now, $5,
Yep.
I'll rent it and watch it at home.
Right.
I won't pay $20.
To
Yeah,
rent.
$20 seems a little bit steep.
Exorbitant.
I wanted to watch The Hunt, and it was also $20, and I wasn't going to pay $20 to watch it. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they need to take that into account when they do this is the pricing because anything over $5-6, people are just going to wait and get it from Redbox or go and watch it in the theater for the same price.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that.
But you said you'd rather sit in the theater. What is it about sitting in a theater that makes the experience better for you?
I think it's just the setting overall, the darkened theater, the large big screen, the amazing surround sound, or the sound system in general. Buying popcorn or getting a drink or getting food and just the whole experience, the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Troy. When I think about the joy of being in the theater, I think of two movies in the last year or so. I remember Into the Spider-Verse, how blown away my mind was, and when I watched it on TV, obviously not the same experience for me.
Not the same. Yeah,
That's
that's a
the
perfect example. That's a
yes.
perfect example.
That
In
There's
that's
fact,
something
I
to be
watched that
said for
movie
that big
twice in the
screen,
theater.
but there's also
yeah.
something to be said being able to pause and go to the bathroom and start it again.
That's true, right? You can't do that in the theater, but
Yeah, because there's been times in some of those, movies now regularly 2 to 3 hours. I mean, that's
yeah.
almost common. And
But
if I get that big thing of Diet Coke about an hour in, I'm holding it because I need to go to the bathroom and I don't want to miss any of the movie.
speaking
You
of
know what?
holding it, that's what I had to do with 1917 because again, watching it in the theater, it was so immersive with the sound and the visuals and the big screen that I was not leaving. I was not leaving.
Yeah, and that's exactly, that brings me to my next point. I like how in the theater you're sucked in. If I'm watching a movie at home and I'm a person that gets easily distracted, right? I'll be like, ooh, what's going on? In the theater, I feel like more in the zone, and I feel like I'm paying more attention. It's not the same when I watch it at home.
The one pet peeve I have against theaters is when you're watching a movie and there's always people around you who have the wrong reaction at the wrong. They'll laugh at
Oh,
parts that are not supposed to be funny, or they'll get scared at parts that aren't really scary. That annoys the crap out of
maybe
me.
it
I
takes
don't
you out of the movie a
understand.
little bit, out of the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it really because then the rest, for the next 5 minutes, I'm thinking this guy's an idiot. He's laughing. Somebody just died.
Or you could have the
True.
flip side of that coin. You could have the flip side when you're watching, say, maybe Endgame and the
And people
reaction.
clap.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's that too.
when spoiler alert, when Tony Stark dies in Endgame and everything
What?
So sorry.
How dare you?
I know, right?
For the 3 people in the world who haven't
Who's
seen
never seen
Endgame.
it, right? I remember watching that movie, and when he died, like right after he died, it was so quiet until
Yeah,
you
the
hear people
pin drop.
sniffling, you hear people crying. There was a woman sobbing next to me. It was unreal. For me. I
Nobody
was like,
laughed.
yeah. So I mean, so that's the other side of the coin, right? Like I enjoyed
It's
that
a
part.
communal experience. It's a communal experience for sure.
Are there any movies maybe like that were supposed to come out this year that you were really anticipating?
Well,
Well,
I really was hoping Black Widow
yeah.
would take. I love David Harbour, and
Mhm.
even with Hellboy bombing, I still like him as an actor, and I was hoping this would be his rebound movie. Wonder Woman 84.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she stole every scene she was in Batman vs Superman. So I was really waiting to see another Wonder Woman movie.
Agreed.
Bloodshot. I was hoping they could launch the Valiant universe on Vin Diesel's back, and then COVID had a little different plan for that.
There was a lot of buzz surrounding A Quiet Place 2. The
Oh, man.
early Twitter comments were
Yeah.
very, very positive. So I was really looking forward to A Quiet Place 2. And I was looking forward to the James Bond movie. I always mess up the title, though. I know I always mess up. Yeah,
They're all
remember.
redundant.
Yeah, Die Another Day or Die Again, or
Just
I don't
James
even know.
Bond.
No time
insert
to die.
something.
Was
No
it like
Time
No
to
Time to
Die.
Die or something like that?
I think
Yeah.
you're right. No
That's
Time
what
to
it
Die.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of James Bond, what do you guys think about Daniel Craig as James Bond? Is he living up to the role?
I think so. I mean, I'm not a big Bond geek, or expert.
He doesn't fit my idea of a Bond, and I don't know if that's because of his height, or his blonde hair, or what have you. But I mean, he's not going to be Bond forever, and they've been talking about the next Bond. And there's a short list they've had, and there's females I think on that list.
Yep.
Who do you guys think should be the next James Bond?
Okay, I'll go
Oh,
first.
Oh, I'm glad that you have someone. Yeah.
No. I'm a big fan of Chris Hemsworth. I know his name has been thrown around a lot. I think he'd be perfect for it. I think he has everything that is required. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking of Henry Cavill. I don't think he's the greatest actor, but I think he's
No.
You're thinking
No.
of that the Witcher series, right?
No.
You didn't like him in The Witcher.
I have not. I have yet to see a worthy performance by Henry Cavill. I am
Okay,
sorry.
Well,
No.
Witcher was bad. He just grunts and swears a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
I think Chris Hemsworth is a better choice.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put that much thought into it, but when I think about it, I think of those two guys.
They were
I'm not-
debating Eldris Alba. I wouldn't mind seeing Eldris
Yeah.
Alba.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I have no age. I think you need somebody with some gravitas. It's somebody that's going to own a screen or on it. And while Hemsworth, just judging on his Men in Black performance, I don't want James Bond to turn into a comedy.
Well, it could have been the writing in that movie too. I mean,
It could have been, but
dialogue
most
was
of the
stale.
scenes most of the movies he's in, though, they've been playing up to his comedy chops lately, and not the seriousness. I mean, what's the last serious role Hemsworth was in?
Yeah,
I know. You
yeah,
gotta
right?
think, right? I just thought of one. The dude who plays Lucifer on the TV series.
I haven't seen Lucifer. I don't remember. I haven't seen Lucifer. I know.
Well,
I've
while
heard
you're
a lot of
quarantined,
people
dude,
are big
Do
fans.
yourself a favor.
That's
and
what I've
watch-
heard.
And
Yeah,
watch it.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about Tom Ellis? Is that his name?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the
Yeah, Tom
accent
Ellis.
already. He's got the look, and he can. I think he could pull it off. But if
Okay.
you like Neil Gaiman, check out Lucifer. That TV
Okay.
show is pretty good.
Kind of going back to the movies that I was looking forward to. I know Beto. This might not be very popular with Beto, but I was looking forward to Mulan. I know Beto's not really into the Disney remakes, the live action
The
remakes.
live action.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Mulan. Just because
But
I've
This
always
one
Mushu.
looks different though.
okay. Like maybe they're doing something different than just like a step-by-step, remake of the cartoon.
Exactly. They're not just remaking a musical live action version of the film that already exists. It looks like it's going to be different and keeping to the same story overall. I feel like it's going to be one of the better Disney remakes, live action remakes.
It looks good. That looks
It
good.
does look good.
The moosh, so you don't have the dragon, you don't have the cricket, but they did introduce that new that witch woman who can turn into a phoenix or a bird or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm cautiously optimistic about that one.
Okay. Hey, you know what? What do you think about Top Gun 2, Troy?
Oh, mixed feelings. I like young Cruise, and then there was a
Mhm.
period in the middle of his career where I just kind of lost interest in him. He's starting to earn my respect again with some of the movies he's doing. Not so much the Mission Impossible stuff, but
He's
the
a hit
other
or miss
stuff.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Top Gun is just such a. I mean, who doesn't want to be a fighter pilot? So you
Yeah.
get to live through that. With Maverick, I mean, you get to see him aged, but he's still one of the best pilots out there. I just hope it doesn't go the route of Iron Eagle 2. I
Oh.
want to see it be good and not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a cash grab on the name.
I was going to bring up how funny it is that they keep pushing back the Avatar films and now even more. You know what I mean? Like these movies have been pushed back like no other movie in movie history probably.
Aren't they
For
filming all
sure.
three, the next three, all at the same time?
They better have
Yeah,
the next 5 by now.
but that stopped.
Well,
That
I know
stopped
Cameron was a
because
little
of the
upset when Avengers took over his box office title. So they're
Mm.
talking about re-releasing another Avatar cut to try to take that title back. I was like, just leave it
Oh,
alone.
geez.
You got
Yeah, it's
beat.
such a cash grab
Yeah,
now. Come on.
just let it go.
man. I guess I don't even know when we're going to see those movies. You know.
You know, no,
Honestly, I'm fine if we don't. The first one was good enough standalone. I don't need
yeah.
to see another one.
And
True.
plus, we've waited so long. It's like, what's another, 10 years? I don't want to forget to mention the Umbrella Academy season 2. I mean, have you guys seen the first Umbrella Academy
Oh
season?
God, yeah.
Big fan.
Talk about binge watching a show. I think I binged that in 2 days.
Have
You
you
know?
read the story in the book, trade paperbacks,
No,
or?
I haven't.
No.
That was my first
Oh,
exposure.
it's just as good as a show, if not better. What keeps popping up in my mind is there was 40 some kids that were born to unpregnant mothers during that time. He only had 7.
Yes,
Those
exactly.
other ones are floating around out there somewhere in the world. So I mean,
Yeah.
he has the potential to pull them in as villains or sidekicks in future shows or future trade paperbacks.
Season 2 of The Mandalorian too. I'm looking
Oh,
forward
yeah,
to.
that's right.
How did we forget the
I
Mandalorian?
know, right? So many
The
good
baby
shows.
Yoda memes that sparked.
I'm looking forward to seeing, how the dark saber, got
Oh, jeez.
his hands.
Giancarlo Esposito. Well, he was one of the main Empire guys who aided or was part of the raid on Mandalore. The leader of the Mandalorians always has that dark saber. That's kind of like their instead of a crown, they have the dark saber. And if
Okay.
you've watched Rebels, you'll see the dark saber in Star Wars Rebels. And at one point, I think even Darth Maul took over the Mandalorians, and he had the dark saber.
Yeah, I think,
That dark saber was on Mandalore with Death Watch. I think Death Watch was the group that took over Mandalore. So when the Empire raided, they must have defeated Death Watch and whoever else on Mandalore. And I'm guessing Giancarlo Esposito was there, Moff Gideon, and grabbed the darksaber. So now he has. I mean, we don't know if he's force sensitive or he just has it, or the whole story behind this. But
Yeah, the last
the
episode was awesome though. Yeah.
yeah, the very important to Mandalorian lore. If you ever and just Google it, you'll find it. Wikipedia, I'm sure, has it.
Do you think that they're going to delve into like the more background of the Mandalorian race at some point? Have you? I'm by the way, I'm excited about Rosario Dawson being in season 2.
Ahsoka Tano,
Yeah.
Clone Wars and Rebels is better than any Star Wars movie that was ever produced or probably ever will be produced.
Those are big words, Troy.
Wow.
There's so much lore and backstory in those cartoons. It's crazy. You think it's a cartoon, but you got to watch it and pay attention because there's so much name dropping and lore that they give you. There's a lot of Grievous is in there a lot of Dooku before he got killed. How the Emperor, went from the Senator to Emperor Palpatine. I'll stand behind those words. I'll put those 2 cartoons up against any one of the movies.
Which series do people watch first between those 2, and where can they find it?
If you Google Star Wars timelines. You can watch all the movies and then the cartoons in the timeline order. Rebels, I believe, takes place somewhere after the third movie, because Vader is in there quite a bit.
Where did the Clone Wars fall?
The Clone Wars is
2 and 3
before he turns to Vader.
Okay.
Yeah, so
He's
like,
still a Jedi at that point.
Okay.
I think between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, I want to say.
Ooh, man, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that
hit that
sounds
timeline.
right. If you don't watch any of the other ones, watch Clone Wars. It fills in so many of the blanks that the movies left. If you're a Star Wars geek like I am, it's mind blowing how good those cartoons are.
Where can you watch it?
I've been watching off Disney Plus.
I was gonna say, Troy, before we go, can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel?
It's YouTube/Zia Comics. It's pretty much an extension of my store, Zia. I try to post videos from everything up there. We have how to play different board games, pop culture stuff where we just talk like this, where we just talk about geeky, nerdy stuff.
All right. Well, that wraps up our quarantine binge watching talk with our special guest, Troy. Thank you for joining us. It was fun. Leave your comments below on what you have been watching and what you think about what we think about, these shows. As always, we're on social media at Facebook, we are at Real Screeners, and Instagram, we are at real.screeners.
And thank you guys once again, and we'll see you next time for our real take on whatever we can watch during quarantine. See ya.